Hi, okay, so we're gonna do a face pull or a high row. You're gonna need a cable machine. You can do this with bands, but since we're in the gym, we're gonna show you here. You're gonna wanna pick some sort of handle that's nice and long. You can also use the ropes, but use 2 of them. You're gonna set the weight not too heavy. You're not trying to go for your max weight here. In fact, even going a little lighter at first is better. So find a comfortable way to hold these. I always kind of keep my thumbs up. You're gonna come back, feet are gonna be right under your hips or shoulders. You wanna drop your weight just enough so that you're not arching your back, because that's gonna defeat the purpose. We're working on posture. So you wanna tuck your core in, nice tight stomach no matter what you're doing. You're gonna hold this here, shoulders are down and back. I always kind of keep my thumbs up because what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be pulling these back and I'm kind of like pointing behind me, like go that way. So you're gonna be here and you're gonna pull straight up and back. Okay, so you're trying to pull that hook right to your nose. Now my right shoulder, or right neck is a little tight today, so my form might be a little off, but I'm trying to pull straight back and I'm trying to get my hands to go before my elbows. Okay.
So keep in mind this is a postural exercise, so form is so important. We think we do things the right way, but so often we have subtleties and compensations that get in the way and it can hurt us. As Jerusha just said, her neck is bothering her a little bit, and you can tell. Do a little bit of a chin tuck for me. Yep. And bring it back a little. And just hold it, put my hands on you there. Yeah, there. Now hold that tuck. Now try it again. Is that harder? Yeah. A little bit. So part of it is doing the right thing, right? So compensation's wonderful. The body will do it. Whether it does it right or not is up to us. And you, of course.
Pause for a second. Yep. Yeah, and what John said is absolutely right. Form is everything, and that's one of the benefits. Even as a trainer, I like working with other trainers because you can't always see what your body's doing. You might feel like you're doing it right. You might, think you're in the right form. You might think you got your feet right, you're pulling right, but you might be doing something that is actually, like you said, you're compensating, and that can actually make the pain worse or transfer that pain to another part of your body, which is definitely not what you want.
Okay, so now we're going to continue exercises for the shoulder and posture. Okay, so Jerusha is kind enough to volunteer, so we're going to, she kindly showed us the face pull, which is a great exercise to be done in the gym. You can also do this in the gym or at home if you have one of these Swiss balls, or since I'm old I call them Swiss balls. I'm going to have Jerusha demonstrate, and we can go over the mechanics. Jerusha, can you kneel for me and lay on the ball? So oftentimes when someone comes into the clinic and they have weakness or postural deficits, we can identify these muscles as being weak. So this is a great postural exercise that we can kind of kick in and can do it at any point. So what I'm going to have Jerusha do is bring her arms up by her side, and she's going to do a chin tuck. Now why is that important? Well, remember from our anatomy, the neck is really a component of the upper spine and the scapula. So when you kick those neck muscles in, you help enhance your neck strength, which is hard to do. And what we're going to do is have her do a little bit of a shoulder blade squeeze. Yep, so that's your starting position. Okay, that's important, really good, ready for posture. Now it's important to note she can be on her toes like she is, or she can come on her knees, whatever is easier for her. So now you're going to do a row for me. There we go. And then up and down. Let's do 10 of those. So her scapular muscles are being squeezed and her chin tuck is being done here, so it's all about posture. So this is a really good one because you're fighting against gravity. That's an important piece. So I like to do gravity resisted exercises because technically you don't need a weight if you're having a lot of issues with strength, and then you can add hand weights or whatever type of resistance you like. And Jerusha's exercise of the face pulls, that's a great one when you do the pulleys. Okay, good. The other one you can do here, we're going to do the same position. How you doing, Jerusha? Good. Okay, you're going to do a chin tuck for me here. Yep, you're going to squeeze those shoulder blades here, and now you're going to do a T. So let's change your positions like this. Yep. Okay. And then all the way back down to the floor. Keep this squeeze the whole time. And there's some really good postural exercises. Really tough to do. Would you say?
Yeah, just keeping that contraction at the top and not letting it fall.
So if you struggle with exercises, oftentimes I'll just tell people to slow down. To me, it's not about how many reps you're doing, but about the posture, about your form. Again, really pushing the form is important because you want to do it right. I don't really care so many reps that you're doing. If you're doing 1,000 reps wrong, that's really not very helpful. And you could hurt yourself, clearly. What do you think?
Love it.
All right, great, that's posture. So now we're gonna focus in on shoulder strengthening, specifically rotator cuff. So again, I got Jerusha to volunteer. Thank you. And I'm gonna have you lay down on your left side for me. So this is one of my favorite exercises, especially for rotator cuff. So essentially what I'm gonna have her do is line her arm up to the trunk. Okay? And she's gonna be nice and stable. So the head really should be down because you don't wanna be kind of contorted. Are you comfortable there?
Yep.
You can also put a pillow between the knees if you want. What's really important is to stay in neutral, okay? Because often what can happen is the body can roll back, and that's not what you want. So I'm gonna have her do it badly for me. So that's bad, okay? Because there's lots of extra movement, okay? Keeping it simple is your best bet. So I usually have a towel roll or something here, so there's a little bit of a cue to keep that elbow locked in, and you're just gonna go down to your belly and then come on back up. And that's a great simple exercise. You do enough of these, you'll definitely feel it. Yeah. Usually with my evaluation, I'll look at strength loss in the rotator cuff for the external rotators, and this is something I would do for that. Again, not trying to diagnose, but just for education. Feel it?
Oh yeah.
So say you want it to go a little harder.
Just too easy.
Right. A couple things you can do. I often will kind of compound exercises, so I'm going to have you do a plank.
Yep.
Okay, or a side plank, and then she's going to do that same exercise.
What's high or low?
Low. So here's our low side plank with external rotation. Too easy, you say? Then we could also go into higher planks and bands and resistances. So this is the benefit of working with training in physical therapy, because we always can make it a little more challenging.
Absolutely.
Feel okay?
Oh yeah,
all right.
Those are great.
So that's shoulder strengthening.
Hi, okay, so this is a variation of one we did earlier on the floor. It's gonna work the external and internal rotator cuff. We're gonna do this one with a band. So this is something I do a lot with my clients. It's also one that people often do incorrectly. Mostly because, especially when people are working with a trainer, they are used to working big muscles and lifting heavy weight, and this is not for that. So if you're straining with this one, you're probably doing it wrong. In fact, I might have grabbed too heavy of a band, but we're gonna go with it. So you're gonna loop this band around something. If you're at home, you can use a banister, you can use a tree outside, whatever you can get this around. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna step out so there's a little bit of tension. But like I said, you shouldn't be yanking at this. If you're having to start using your body, you wanna step in or get a lighter band. So I'm gonna step here, I'm gonna keep my core tight as always, hands at my stomach, shoulders are down and back. I'm gonna try and lock this elbow right by my side. So what I try to tell people is, imagine this is a door and this is the hinge, so you don't want that to come off the hinges. And all I'm gonna do is, see, this is a little too tight, so I'm gonna come here and I'm just gonna open in that door. If you want to talk about what I'm doing here.
So specifically, this is for the external rotators. You're thinking posterior or back part of the shoulder here. So very similar to what Jerusha is doing. I'll have her do a chin tuck. I'll have her tighten her tummy, soften the knees a little bit. And as a cue, sometimes I'll put a towel roll or something here. That way it keeps that elbow pinned. And the goal is not to be as far out as possible. Can you feel that right now?
Oh yeah.
So it's external rotation, again, very similar to another video where we did sideline external rotation. So the reality is, you don't need to work harder, you just need to work smarter. So form is everything when it comes to, well, anything really, but specifically for the shoulder.
Absolutely, and even this one, as you can tell, it's loose when I'm at this point, and just that little motion, I can already feel it, starting to burn up in the shoulder. So just to show you how this is incorrect, if you're doing this on your own and you start letting that elbow come up, that's not what you want.
You can see the compensation in her upper shoulder,
right.
So do that wrong again. So you can really kind of tweak things. Your bicep can get tweaked, you can get some impingement and compensation and pain, and the neck can also be an issue. So this is the benefit of really having someone to see what your body's doing. If you're familiar with exercise, you might not be familiar how your body's going to react to a new exercise. So that's the hard part, right? It's just tweaking it in the right form.
And even for myself, I'm standing here demoing to you, and John noticed I was locking my knees. which is one of my bad habits, is I'll clench everything. So having somebody, whether it's a personal trainer or a physical therapist, that's watching and cueing you for those little things is so helpful. So again, we try and recommend that. So now I'm going to show you the internal. So as you know, John and I were just talking about, this one is one that most people are stronger in anyway, but it's still a good one to know. So it's the same motion. It's the same motion, except now we're going the other direction. So again, shoulders down and back, core's engaged, locking this elbow here, and now I'm just going to close the door right to my stomach.
So notice that the rotation is the same type of motion, but the resistance in the opposite direction. Okay, so really what we're trying to do is get internal rotation strengthening versus the other was external rotation strengthening. Just a difference in the band. Okay, and again, soften the knees a little bit, do a chin tuck. I know, right? So take your time, less is more, keep it simple, watch your form. Those are the big pieces Absolutely. That I like to preach anyway.
And one of the things I see incorrectly with this one with people is there again, most of the time people feel like they really have to muscle it. So if you're out here, the elbow coming off, and people will start to do a turn, and they'll actually turn it into more of an oblique abdominal exercise. You're still activating there, but I'm feeling it more in my bicep, I'm feeling it more in my core, and this is obviously not what you're wanting to do.
Hi everyone, so now we're going to focus on mobility. So what does mobility mean? It's kind of a big term. So we want everything moving the way it should. And oftentimes when you're dealing with shoulder, you're dealing with posture, you're dealing with weakness, but your mid-back can also get very stiff. And oftentimes when your mid-back is weak or stiff, that can impact your shoulders and your neck. So I'm going to show you a couple of things you can do to help promote better mobility. Of course, if you have pain with it, don't do it. If you have any lingering issues or are uncomfortable with it, don't do it. If you have something going on that you're just not sure, call your doctor, call Platinum Physical Therapy for a free injury screen. Again, pain is not what you're supposed to work through. Okay? Sharp pain is definitely not a good thing. Okay? So we're going to use this foam roller, one of my personal favorites. You can get them cheap. You don't have to have the highest, best name out there, but essentially Amazon is one of my favorites to get stuff like this. So we're going to do two different mobility exercises using the foam roller. One, I'm going to have myself lay on the foam roller. I'm about mid-back between the shoulder blades. I take my hands and I kind of create a nice little seat for my head, and then I do a bridge, and then I just roll up and down to the top of the shoulder blades, down about to the end of the rib cage, give or take. And nice and slow. You might hear lots of pops and cracks, that's okay as long as they're not painful. And nice and easy. A couple of rolls up and down, and this will help that tuck neck posture, which is kind of one of those things that we're sitting so much these days in homemade offices. So nice and easy that way. The other exercise I'm going to have you do, or try to do for mobility, is going to be really graceful. Watch this. Hold it. Yep. And then what you're going to do is lay on it. Tailbone is on there, head supported, that's number one. And you're going to put yourself in a nice T position, and that'll hopefully open up your shoulders and will get you a little break from gravity. And so you can do some nice gentle rolls side to side if you want, or just stay there. I usually recommend about a minute. And what you're doing is just opening up your posture and taking a deep breath. There we go. Okay? So remember to take a break, get everything moving so everything can function well. Okay? Thank you so much.
Hi, okay, so I'm going to show you another one for shoulder mobility. This is one of my favorites. I actually call it my magic trick because it's going to instantly improve that mobility. Of course, this one, if you have any known injuries that this would aggravate, don't do it. If you feel sharp pain in your shoulder, stop right away and talk to your doctor before you do anything. But for most people with no real injuries, this is a really good one. I'm going to use this just for a pillow. If you don't want to start cranking your neck over for this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay on my side, kind of in that fetal position. I'm going to have my hands out straight together here. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate this out, but I'm not going to let myself open up here. Okay? I'm just going to go from here as far as I can. Trying to stay in one line here, so I don't want to kind of go up or down. I want to try and stay in this one arc. This is another situation where it's always good to have another person, a trainer or a physical therapist with you, so they can guide you and make sure you're not rolling that arm, that shoulder around. So you're gonna go about, I don't know, 6 to 8 of these, okay? When I get to my last rep, I kind of hold it here for a second, and I'm not straining, I'm just letting gravity gently pull through here, okay? Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this hand, I'm gonna reach under my rib cage, okay? Take a deep breath, I'm gonna exhale, and I'm gonna turn and look behind me. Just breathe, a couple deep breaths. And every time I exhale, I try and twist just a little bit more, but I'm keeping this hip forward. I'm not letting myself open up. You should feel this up your spine. It should feel pretty good. This shouldn't hurt. If you're feeling pain, stop. So about 20 seconds, I'm gonna come back here. I'm gonna do this again, okay? And if you notice, I can go way farther. And actually this side for me today is really tight, so it's actually good I'm doing this one. Because usually I can get this hand all the way to the floor. Not today. So, and you can do this a couple times, switching back and forth between opening and closing, and then reaching around, stretching, looking back, and then coming back. And this one is actually a really good complement to the one John showed you where you're lying straight on the foam roller. I like to do those together. And that's it. And then obviously you're gonna wanna switch over and do both sides.